Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler V, series V's I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. This is definitely an item that probably every single person has tried, but I'm going to review it anyway. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's a super simple format. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck, and whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? Well, it happens to be my The Union Underground shirt. Yay, the Union Underground. What's the Union Underground, I hear you proclaim? Well, the Union Underground, they were and now are again a band based out of Texas. Came out in either the very late 90s or very early 2000s. Kind of were riding the whole new metal wave at the time. They never managed to, reach the heights of, like the upper tier bands, your Korns, your Deftones, and what have you. But, I would say that, kind of at their peak, they were, a respectable, B- level, well, maybe even B. B- to B tier new metal band. They did really well for themselves when it came to, soundtracks and stuff like that. Whatever record deal they had going at the time must have worked out for them in that regard. Famously, they had one of their songs on WWE for quite a while. I was a big fan of theirs pretty much from the first time I, saw one of their music videos. And I was really fortunate just a few months ago, I actually got to see them perform live. They kind of came while the lead singer came out of retirement. And the rest of the members are doing their own thing, but he got some people together and they played the songs. So I actually got some videos of that performance. It's on this channel as well, just in case maybe you want to check it out. If nothing else, I'd be happy to point you in their direction. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? Why is it something every person has tried? That's because, folks, it happens to be, boom, it's Sam's Cola from Walmart. Yay! It's a cheapo Coca-Cola knockoff. Since 1991, I actually would have figured it was older than that. But I think prior to that, I think that they had just sort of an in-house brand, but it wasn't theirs specifically, or I don't know, I could just be rambling off bullshit. But yeah, man, it's Sam's Cola. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's exclusive to Walmart. And, they basically just do a number of different cheapo sodas. And normally I'd go over there and I'd get myself, a nice little 12-pack of Coke, but I've been trying to be a little bit more frugal with my funds lately, and when I saw the price difference between Sam's and Coca-Cola, it's Jesus! It was half as much, and I was all right, man, we're doing Sam's from now on. I mean, I'm still going to do Coca-Cola here and there, but, at least until I can kind of get myself a little bit more secure. So, yeah, man, sure, why the fuck not, right? Sam's Cola. I haven't had Sam's Cola in I don't know how long. Last time I had it was probably at a party for something, and somebody probably had some in a freaking cooler. But let's give it a go. And this one, it's been in my freezer for a little bit, so it should be nice and cool. Because just remember, folks, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's bad. It smells like a cola. Yeah, that's a cheap cola. Oh, no, yeah, there's no mistaking that. Now, to be fair, first and foremost, it's not bad. There's nothing about it that I actively dislike. It doesn't have any funky aftertaste or anything. It tastes like a cola. It's pretty good for what it is. By cheap cola standards, it's been around since 91, so you'd like to think that they're doing something right with it. And yeah, I mean, it's got all the elements of a cola that I would like, but it definitely is a cheap cola because it tastes thinner than a Coca-Cola. Whereas Coca-Cola, it has a strength and a depth of flavor to it. This does not have that same strength and depth of flavor. Now, it's not completely thin. It's not anorexic or anything like that. It's got a little meat on the bones. But it's less so than, a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or something like that. You go in, you start drinking it, you get that cola flavor, and you're like, okay, this is nice. You're expecting it to continue to rise to that beautiful flavor crescendo, and it just doesn't. It just kind of gets about maybe like, I don't know, 3/5 of the way there, and then it kind of just teeters off, and then it's like, and you're like, oh, okay. But here's the thing, 3/5 of the way is still pretty good. It's better than half, and again, it still tastes like a cola, it doesn't taste like dirty and trust me, I've had some really shitty colas in my day. Again, it's not like chemically or, there's no weird aftertaste. It just tastes like exactly what it is, which is just a cheap soda. It's the reason why they can go over there and charge half as much as Coca-Cola does, although Coca-Cola also has branding and global distribution, so it's a whole thing. But, I'll say this. It drinks nice. I like the carbonation level on it, which again, sometimes with cheaper sodas, that's one area where they can kind of cheap out on. But no, it has a nice, reasonably nice bite to it as a cola. It's not in any way, shape, or form a bad cola. I'm not even going to say that it's, by cheap cola standards, it's definitely on the better end of them that I've had. It doesn't make it as good as the stuff it's emulating, but when you're caught, here's the perfect way to do it. It's about half the price. It is not about half the flavor. There you go. That's the perfect way to look at it. So, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? I mean, whoa. Excuse me. Sorry to anybody that maybe, wasn't anything I could do about it. Once it started coming, it started coming. But I'm going to go with yes and kind of yes. For me personally, like I said, I have financial reasons why, and realistically, I'm not grabbing a lot of cola these days anyway. I just like to go over there and have, usually just a 12-pack to last me for a week and a half or so. A lot of times when I go over there, when I get home from work, I don't want to just drink water, I want to have something, and I don't drink beer or alcohol very much, so I just want a nice little cola for myself to enjoy. I think that I can grab this and not be disappointed, even at the end of a bad day, it'll get the job done. It's not perfect, but it's good enough, and then a little bit extra, and I think that that's fair, and again, for what you're paying, yeah. And if I'm recommending it, I mean, it really comes down to what you want, Do you want that proper cola experience? Because this isn't going to quite get you there. It's going to get you most of the way. It's a decently rewarding experience. Again, I don't hate anything about it. It's tasty. I'm certainly going to go over there and drink the rest of them, pretty gleefully for what they are. But by that same token, it's not quite as good as Coca-Cola. It's not quite as good as Pepsi. But I think that, again, it's perfect for, hey, we're throwing a party or some shit. Get some Sam's. Or like I said, maybe you're like me, you're just trying to, be a little bit more reasonable with your funds. This is an area where I think certain things you just don't want to cut out. You want to be, John Panette, great comedian, go check out his stuff. Absolutely love him. Sadly, he's, passed away now. But, one of the things that he brought up is toilet paper. You always want to make sure you got good toilet paper. And I live by that. I'll go over there, I'll cut out a little bit on the quality of soda to make sure I got some decent toilet paper to wipe my ass with. So, but 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go there, have yourselves a truly, surprisingly good for the value-tastic rest of your life. Because at the end of the day, folks, look at me, right? I'm this guy. But it's like, at the same time, I'm this guy, but it's like, I've also got, good qualities and stuff, Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your opinion on, discount sodas and stuff like that? I've reviewed a few here and there. I recently did the Nice brand Cherry Cola, which is Walgreens brand. It's nice with an, exclamation point. I said apostrophe in the review, and it maddens me to this day. But, like I said, I mean, I'm a little bit, I tend to prefer the name brands, but at the same time, I'm a man of the people, and at the end of the day, like I said, if you can go over there, you can save $1 and still get a decent quality product. I don't have any problem with that. It's just about going over there. You gotta, especially these days, you gotta pick and choose your battles, Some things, like I said, toilet paper, I'm fighting for that toilet paper. We're keeping that toilet paper rolling. Soda, I'm willing to lose a little ground. We're still holding the front, but, what's your take on it? Anyway.